Hello students, let's start with the new compression algorithm or a compression method called as arithmetic coding. So this particular procedure is comparatively very lengthy. So we will try to cover this entire topic in 2-3 videos. So for today's video or for this particular video, what will be the outline? Introduction, basic encoding and decoding, scaling and incremental coding, integer implementation, adaptive arithmetic coding, and binary arithmetic coding, and then the application. So binary arithmetic coding probably if we get a time we will try to cover it. Application JPEG 2000 we are going to learn. H.264 also is there in our syllabus. So for this particular video, we will try to finish with these two parts, that is introduction and basic encoding, because if you understand the basic encoding procedure clearly, the rest of the things will become easy for you. So why do we are going for this particular compression algorithm? Huffman coding, we say that it is a retired champion now. What was Huffman coding doing? It was replacing an input symbol with a code word. So I hope everybody is familiar with the Huffman coding now. For every symbol, you are generating a few bits code word. If you want to calculate a Huffman coding, you need a probability distribution. You need to find out the probability of that particular symbol or a code. So we used to say that for doing this, it is very difficult to adapt to a changing statistics. That is, once I make the probability table, and suppose that if the incoming data is coming where I don't find that particular symbol again, so my entire code will fail. So it will not work properly. Yes, definitely. Whenever I do a compression, I need to store that code word table. And minimum code word length in the Huffman coding is 1 bit. So you try to say that whether we can do a compression less than the 1 bit coding. We will see that arithmetic coding for us it is a rising star. What does it do? It replaces the entire input with a single floating point number. So it does not need the probability distribution, and adaptive coding is very easy. So at the moment you say adaptive coding, it says that even if your input changes, you can dynamically adapt to it. You can dynamically will be able to compress it. No need to keep and send the code word table. So let's see the Huffman code. We will just have a revision of the Huffman code. I hope everybody remembers this is the binary tree. So on the left hand side you write 0, on the right hand side you write 1. So if n is the alphabet size and l is the maximum code word length, that these many bits are allocated for your entire characters or your data. In that case, you will divide your 0 to 2 raised to l. That means how many bits are there? Suppose I say 3 bits are there. So 2 raised to 3. That means from 0 to 7, I have intervals in which my alphabets will appear. So 0 to 7, I will divide it to how many alphabets I have. So then I get one interval for one symbol. For example, here the 3 bits have been assigned. So then I have the maximum what I can have is triple ones. So I have to divide this entire range into how many alphabets I'm having. So interval size is roughly proportional to the symbol probability. Very correct. What are you going to do in adaptive coding? You are going to implement this idea, apply this idea recursively. What are you going to do? The way you have number of bits assigned and then you used to divide a range. So you used to divide a range from 0 to 2 raised to n. For example, here there were 3 bits. So this has been divided into 000 to 111. So I will normalize this entire range between 0 to 1. So all my symbols should be able to fit into this particular range. So I will say that map a sequence of your input to a unique tab in 0 to 1. See the how this has been represented. So this is a lower limit and this is a upper limit, but I will always indicate with a curl, what do you say, this curve bracket. Okay. So this is a square bracket you have. This is a round bracket. Yeah, that's right what I feel. So my entire words should be in this sequence. So what I will be doing, ABCD will also be lying here and BCBAV will also be lying here. So you name it, any word, any input symbol, it has to lie between 0 to 1. So let's see how does it work. Arithmetic coding, disjoint and complete partition of the range 0 to 1. So for example, here it has been shown for ABC. So I say for A, the probability is between 0 to 0.8. For B, the probability is from 0.8 to 0.82. And for C, it will be 0.8 to 1. So each interval will correspond to one symbol. So when I talk about point 8, this entire range belongs to A. Point 8 to point 82 belongs to B. This to 1 belongs to C. The first symbol restricts the tag position to be in one of the interval. If you remember what we have told, the entire input string will be characterized by a tag. So we are saying that first symbol which occurs in the input will decide the interval for the tag. So for example, suppose this is the where the first symbol has acted. It might be from, suppose it is from point 2 to point 5. So the first symbol is giving you a tag interval. You go on dividing this depending upon your second symbol or a second character. So once the flag tag falls in an interval, it never gets out of it. We will see what does it mean or how are we going to calculate the tag. So some questions to think about: why compression is achieved this way, how to implement it efficiently, how to decode the sequence, and why is it better than the Huffman code. So I will keep this for an open discussion and we will move to the example. So symbol 1, or in the previous slide it was ABC, here we have taken 1, 2, 3, and the probabilities has been written. Now see the probability in which it is written. It says that 0.8, you have 0.02 and then 0.18. So all these symbols we have to map it from the 0 to 1 because you have only that range to work on. So how do you do? We say that first symbol is having a probability of 0.8. So I write it here. 0 to 0.8 belongs to 1.